Hello, my name is Armand Martin, and I'm the author of the book The Quantum Divine Nexus, a journey to unify science and spirituality to unveil life's purpose. So let me introduce myself quickly, as well as the idea behind my book. Now, I was always a very atheistic person. I was a scientific-oriented person, and I was always trying to explain the world with formulas, with knowledge, with science, and I never used any kind of spiritual or esoteric perspective in anything in my life. But my own biography changed that, and I have embarked on a very transformative journey that have showed me that maybe it's not as easy as I thought. Now I'm a successful entrepreneur and I have built many thriving companies. But with the success, something came that I didn't expect. Instead of being fulfilled and happy, I woke up in a kind of a nightmare. I woke up in a void and in pure emptiness. And I asked myself, why is this the case? I exactly did what our society is telling us what we have to do in order to be happy and fulfilled. Focus on our career, focus on admiration, focus on recognition, and specifically on material wealth. But, as it turned out, it had the opposite effect. I was not fulfilled. I was not feeling any better. In the contrary, my life was actually turning upside down. I was distant from myself, even distant from my family. And so I embarked on a journey of exploration to find answers. Why is it that when I exactly did what society is telling us to do in order to be happy, I became unhappy? So I turned to science because all of my life I was a very scientific person. I was interested specifically in physics, neurology, psychology, medicine, and I always find my answers in these scientific fields. But this time, I didn't find any answers. I realized that science can only tell us the how. It can measure things, it can observe, it can make predictions that can be either verified or falsified, but it can never give us insight into the why, into the meaning, into the purpose. And of course, spirituality, belief, faith can, but I was always very far away from this world, and I didn't really connect on any level. But this time, I changed. I was going deep inside of science that I couldn't find any answers. Then I turned to spirituality, and there I found some answers. Some answers that resonated with my emotions and resonated with my guts, but still, I was not really convinced. I didn't find any basis. It could be a fantasy, an illusion, something that you like to hear, but not something that is real. And so what I did is I used artificial intelligence in a very scientific, rigorous way to compare all of the scientific knowledge with the teachings of the world faith. What I did was to create some kind of a matrix where I pulled together all of the scientific latest knowledge in quantum physics, neurology, neuroscience in general, psychology, medicine, and compared it to all of the verses of the major scriptures of all of the world religions. I didn't take a theological approach. I really wanted to have a purely scientific approach. And I used and leveraged AI's capability to compare huge amounts of data together and to calculate, is there any kind of a connection? Does science and do the religions explain the world, reality and existence in a contradictory way? Or do they just use different languages to describe the same thing? What I found in the middle, what I found thanks to artificial intelligence, is two languages describing reality from different angles, but looking at the exact same thing. They use different vocabulary, but in the end, they look at the exact same thing. Life, existence, reality, the universe, and ourselves. Now, what I found out in this journey is that there is a nexus between them. And very often, they have a very similar perspective on reality. In some areas, they take different stances. But the most fascinating thing is that, based on this nexus, I realized something. Many things we believe, that we take for granted, that we today in this world where values and spirituality don't play any role anymore, are no longer respected, no longer taken into account. We need them. We need something that goes beyond the pure, cold, mechanistic explanation of life. And this is what the Quantum Divine Nexus aims to do. It aims to open up our eyes, to show us that the world, the universe, and ourselves are much more complex, much more deep, and much more interesting than we ever thought. And that many of the stories we believe and take for granted are in the end not that different from spiritual teachings and from stories from the past. They also are just some kind of stories.